right. So as you know, I had a few people who wanted to join this seminar, but only the ones who are live here will get some surprise at the end. The webinar is filmed, so everyone who did me an email and wanted to join will get the seminar, but at the end there's some surprise, and only the ones who are live here will get the surprise and will get that extra. So thank you for joining and taking the time to be here at this webinar. Okay, so let me first tell a little bit about myself. Who am I? What am I doing? Why am I doing this webinar? So I'm Eddy Smits, and in a former life, I was a professional artist. I did children's theater, I did comedy, and also during this more than 20 years period, I was a hospital clown. And during these 10 years, I started to be interested in happiness because I saw that in this work, where there was a lot of grief, but there was also a lot of happiness. And I couldn't figure out why people that were hurting very much, where there was a lot of grief, that they could be happy at the same time. So that really triggered me. And at the end of this period, I wrote a book named Model C, where I described the attitudes that you needed as a hospital clown and how you could use these attitudes to use in your real life or in your work, whatever. Now, that was 2012. Until now, I have evolved that work, especially for myself, because I really mean that. I really not mean, but I really am convinced that if you want to change something on people, if you want to make an impact, you first got to do the work yourself. So I began reading a lot of about happiness, about what makes you happy, what makes you solve problems, etc. And I did the work myself. And I read a lot about happiness. I explored a lot of things. And what I figured out is that there are some things, some universal things that always appear again, that always come back. Even if you read the old philosopher books, from the old ancient Greeks until philosophers now, like Freud or other people that wrote philosophy or psychology, it's always the same thing that returns. And these seven steps, these same seven things that I extracted from all this work that I did, and also about my experience that I had, I want to share that with you guys. So that's the thing about this webinar. I just want to share things. At the end, we'll have a short Q&A, and after the Q&A, there will be the surprise for the ones who endure me that long. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen so that you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so if you can see my screen now, then just put yes in the chat if you want. What is happiness? What it is? And it seems that there are two kinds of happiness. Now, the first one is the hedonic happiness, and that is what we know as going away from fear, or going away from fear and going to something you love. That means, for example, if you want to buy a new car and you get the new car, then you are happy. So that's hedonic happiness. And so it's a little bit what you are, right? The second one is the eudaimonic happiness. Yeah, I always have problem with this name. And that's about the soul. So that's about who you are, what you want to accomplish, personal growth. So these are the two kinds of happiness. They are both okay. There's no need to go for one more than the other. So if people are telling you, hey, my happiness is my new car, that's perfectly fine. That's one sort of happiness. So we've got two of them. Now, what is very important is that where everything starts to be happy or to get happiness is that you have to stop taking things too seriously, right? If you are taking things too seriously, sometimes it becomes really, really difficult to be happy, right? So that's one thing you really gotta focus on. Don't be too serious. Take your work serious. Take maybe the education of your children serious. Your relationship, it's okay, but don't take yourself too serious. Now, another thing is that happiness is commitment. You have to commit to happiness. It doesn't fall out of trees. That's a little bit the same with money. If you expect to earn money and you go sitting under a tree drinking a cocktail, money is not going to fall out. Same as happiness. You gotta go after it. But it's a choice. You choose happiness. Here again, you always have the choice to say no or yes if things happen to you. So it is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is also a process. It's not something that happens from now you're happy and now you're not happy and I want to be happy. Suddenly I'm happy and I will stay happy. No, it's a process. It's something you have to learn and something you can learn. So that's important that we know that. Okay. Back to myself now. But I still need to see my own. Oh, okay. Now, happiness is something that occurs in your head. Now, there are studies, and this is really interesting, that 30% of how we can feel happiness is stable and has to do with our personality and is in our genes. But that means that the other 50 to 60 to 70% can be explained to what we do. And that's why this is good news, because happiness is in the actions we do and the things we do. So that's also the thing that why we can learn to be happy. So that's a good thing, right? Now, that means that if you feel happy, then you are happy. It's as simple as that. It's only a feeling. It has nothing to do with physical things. It's only between your ears. It's only in your head. So here again, that's good news, because everybody can be happy. Everybody can make themselves happy. Also good news. And more good news is to come, because I will give you some benefits of being happy. Now, first benefit is productivity. Your productivity will rise the moment you're happy. The second thing is making decisions is going to be easier and you're going to make better decisions, right? The third thing is your ability of problem solving. Now, when you are happy and when your happiness level is high, your ability to problem solving is bigger, is greater. Fourth thing is your critical thinking gets better. And the fifth thing is your creativity increases. So these are serious reasons why you should strive to be happy, right? Now, most important thing, and also studies have learned that happiness will extend your life with 10 years. So again, I think it's a very good reason to strive for happiness, to try to be happy. Now, the basic rule, and this is something I discuss a lot with people. The basic rule is you first have to be happy yourself before you can make others happy. This lecture or this webinar or this keynote I did a few months ago for people who are in the care business, like nurses and these kind of people, and I got reactions from them. But yeah, I'm feeling happy when I can help others. That's my happiness. That's what I'm feeling happy. You also have this with teachers, right? They if they get back from children or from their students, they feel happy because they can give so much. Now the problem is that you can only give as much as there is water in the bucket, right? Because when the bucket is empty and when you don't have things to give anymore, it stops. And then you've got depressions, burnouts, bore-outs, etc., etc., etc. So you need to be totally happy within yourself. You need to have a level of happiness that is high enough, and then you can share. It's as simple as that. You can only share if you got it yourself. It's a basic rule, yeah, but a very important one. Now, the next thing is, okay, that's a little bit the thing about happiness. So we are now at the 7 steps. And what are these 7 steps? Now, the first one is rewrite your patterns. Okay, now, what do I want to say about that? Now, in life, we start as a kid, or as a girl or a boy, and adults, our parents, or teachers, or people that have experience and are much older than us, they teach us a lot of things and they say a lot of things to us. But not everything they say or they teach is true. But because we are very young, we accept that as a truth. I'll give you a few examples. One of these things is what you hear from parents or people, or I don't care, is money doesn't make you happy, right? Something you hear all the time. Now, if you think about that, if you remember the two kinds of happiness, then getting money is hedonic happiness. I agree. Sometimes it's very short, but it's a kind of happiness. Now, what happens if you are so determined, if it's in your head, oh, money doesn't make me happy, money doesn't make me happy, oh, no, money doesn't make me happy. Now, think of it, what happens if you get your paycheck, right? You get your paycheck, you see, oh, there's money in my account, but your brain is telling me, oh, money doesn't make me happy, money doesn't make me happy. So there you got a conflict, and you don't know why you don't feel happy because there's money in my account. I should be happy, and you're not. So that's one of the common mistakes, the common things is that you have to rewrite your patterns. You have to get rid of these limited beliefs. Another limited belief is I don't have time. I don't have the time. Another limited belief, because everybody has the same time. In 1 hour, there's 60 minutes, in 60 minutes, 60 seconds, and it's the same for everybody. So if you say I don't have time, that's not correct, because you have the time. You have just as much time as everybody. How you use it, however, that's another thing. But if you say I don't have time, that's not true, because everybody is giving the same amount of time, right? So that's another limited belief. These are the two limited beliefs that I hear most often, but there are so many of them. So as long as you are holding on to these limited beliefs, which are subconscious and which are not your fault because you've picked them up as a child, as long as you have these, it's very hard to be happy. Remember the example I gave you with the money. So it's very hard. So that's one of the first things, the first step that we need to let go is these limited beliefs. We have to rewrite our patterns. Now, it can be conscious and it can be unconscious. So it's very important that you get away of these things from the past you learned, and that you realize that everything you learned in the past, is it true? Is it not true? Don't be sure of it. The other thing that people do is they listen a lot to family and friends, but is it true what I say? Do you have the experience, etc., etc.? So these things are going around in your head, and that's the first step, a little step, big step of being happy. So we have to let go of a few of these limited beliefs. Everybody has them. Don't worry, as in everybody, and everybody can let them go too. So you can learn to let them go and to replace them to things that are true, right? Okay. Now the second step is you have to live in gratefulness. I'm going to share my screen again, just to give you another view instead of my face. So live in gratefulness is important. You have to be grateful. And everybody in his life has something to be grateful for. And if you think you don't have anything, then you should be starting with be grateful that you're alive. That's the first thing you can be grateful for. Then you can be grateful for the children you have, for the wife or man you have, for the job, etc., 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 etc. But you have to be grateful. Okay? One of these things is that you really have to stop complaining and stop nagging, because it won't solve problems, and it just will get you down. So we really, as people, have to stop nagging. To do that, how can you do that? It's just find positive people. Hang around with positive people. Don't interfere with people who are negative. Search for the positive, because whatever we focus on, we will see, right? Whatever is conscious, we can avoid. So if you hear people that are all nagging all the time, leave them be. Search for these people who are positive, right? So don't use criticism, but use feedback. There's a difference, right? Feedback is to lift somebody up. Criticism is to put somebody down. Give compliments. How easy can it be? If you get up in the morning, give a compliment to your wife, to your husband, to your son, to your daughter, maybe even your dog, I don't know. But give compliments. And it's very strange, because if you give compliments, you will get them back, and then you will know how nice it is to get compliments. They have to be truthful, of course. Forgive, right? We have to be able to forgive, because whatever happened, and that's also something that is coming back a lot in these conversations, these talk with people. Why do I need to forgive? Because even if something bad happens to me, yeah, you need to be able to forgive, because the only thing that you can move on and receive happiness is that you leave the past for what it is. You can't change the past. You can only start now and go to the future. So you need to forgive before you can move on, whatever it is. Could mean it takes a long time, could be. But the point where you forgive, that's the point you can move on. And then negative associations can be a trigger. If you had a bad experience with something, with even with something you ate or something, it can put your mood immediately in a negative spiral. And if you realize that, you can change it. Again, if you realize the things, you can change them, right? Then the third step is choose empowering beliefs. Now, what I mean with that is, first thing is you have to stop making excuses. And that's something we all do, right? It's the excuse for being too late. It's the excuse to not eat less. It's the excuse to not go to the gym. It's the excuse to not stop smoking, etc., etc., etc. We have to learn new things. We have to trigger our brain, right? As long as you learn, as long as you trigger your brain, and I see I put a typing mistake there, I have to correct that, then you grow. And as long as you grow, your happiness will grow with it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid of your fears. You have to overcome them. You have to make mistakes. Making mistakes is very important. If a child doesn't fall with his bike, it will never learn how to ride a bike. But a child wants to ride a bike, it falls, starts over, falls again, starts over, falls again, falls over. We as adults have the tendency to stop when things are going not our way, and then the excuses come, right? So again, this is something we have to learn. We can learn because you can do it. If other people can, you can too. It's also important. If it just take the example of a child, if you want to learn a child how to ride a bike, you say, hey, your friend is doing it, look, right? It will give him it will give him the power to do the same. It's the same with us. We see other people being happy, then we need to have the then we need to think, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. Yeah, why not? Right? And then a very important one, that's one of my favorites, is you gotta understand perception. Because the things we see is not what we see, but is what we, which context we give it, which feeling we give it. That's perception. If it's raining, right? The rain is not making it bad. It's our perception that makes it bad. Because we think, oh, now I feel down, I can't go for a walk, I'll have to go to school with my bike and I will be wet, etc., etc., etc. So it's not the rain gives you the bad feeling. It's our perception of the rain that gives us the bad feeling, right? Another thing of perception is if you see other people, they're being happy and they're doing this and doing that, and they are they have success and whatever. Don't be too sure of that, right? Don't be too sure of that. It's not always what you see that is what you get. Dig into it, right? Could be that they are telling the truth. It could be that they are totally happy. But perception is a funny thing, right? Don't let perception kill your energy, kill your thoughts, kill your happiness. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying don't believe everything you think, right? Then really important, they're all important, right? But something is you can start doing now is body and mind, right? Smile, guys. It's so easy to smile. Maybe now with your mouth mask it's a little bit difficult, but whatever. You can smile to people. It gives so much energy and you get so much back. Move, right? Don't sit in a chair all day. Try to move. Go crazy. Sing under under your shower, for example, right? Go dancing. It's not because you're an adult that you can't do something crazy. It really will push your happiness to the next level. Go outside, get some air. If you have a desk job, go and take a walk in your break, right? If you're into meditation, meditate. Because breathing can be really, really good for your happiness. Interact, say good morning, say good night, say good evening, say how are you to people. Speak to people. Don't be a zombie and walk through the city or to your work or whatever. If you have a mouth mask, not to people, say hello, they will hear you. And breathe. That's what meditation often is about. If you do sport, you're going to breathe by yourself, right? If you walk, you breathe by yourself. Breathing will make you stronger in your body, and your body will make your mind stronger, and vice versa, right? To use all senses. It's not all about what we see and what we hear. It's also what we feel, what we taste. That's also important, right? And then your body language. And if you don't know what that is, you can do it now, you can do it after the seminar, I don't care. If you go and stand like this, like Superman, so you do your feet a little bit apart, your two fists in your thigh, put your chest up, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, and just go stand like this for 2 minutes, only 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds. And see what happens. You can do it after the seminar. You can do it now. Just experience what happens. Really, do it. So that means that whatever your body does, it reflects on your mind. So that means, so I told you before, happiness is in your mind. That means that we have to keep our body healthy. We have to eat good food. We have to move. But we don't have to be an athlete. No, if you walk half an hour a day, it's okay. If you don't like walking, ride a bike. If you don't ride a bike, go take the stairs to your office. If you don't like that, yeah, well, I have to find something, right? So the power of your mind is really, 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 really important to do things. And you can switch like that. If I'm telling you now, think about a pink elephant, up, there it is already, right? So your mind is so strong. Okay, just take an imaginary lemon. You got it? Okay. You take a knife and you cut the lemon in two. You will see these things come out of it. Yeah. You have got 2 pieces of lemon now, right? And you lick one piece. Can you feel the saliva in your mouth? Yeah. Okay. So that's how strong your mind is. So if we can put our mind to these things to be happy, then we are well on our way to be happy, right? Okay. Now, a very important one is this one. Be in the now. Now, okay. This is one too far. That's that important. Okay, so be in the now. Now, what does that mean, be in the now? First of all, I want to start by saying that control is an illusion. What do I want to say about that? What do I mean with that? You can't control what happens to you, right? If you go outside and there's a biker and he drives over your feet, you can't control that, right? What you can do is control your reaction to what happens. So you have 0 control of what happens to you, but you've got 100% control in your reaction. You can shout at this bike, you can throw something at him, or you can say, okay, sorry, you didn't see me, it's okay, right? Same as in traffic. You can eat your steering wheel, you can shout, you can do whatever you want, but you're not in control of traffic. But you are in control of your reaction. You could call your appointment and saying, hey, I'm gonna be too late. You could call your wife or spouse, sorry, I'm in traffic, I will be too late, etc. So it's your reaction that you control 100%. So you need to let go of certain things. That's what letting off control means, right? Okay. Think we lost somebody? That's okay. Did we lose somebody? Okay, she's back. Now, I told you before from future and past, and I want to, again, what happened in the past is in the past. You can't change the past. So it's very important to realize that you can only change what's in the future. No, you can't even change what's in the future. Is what in the future. You can only change what is now. That's why now is so important, right? So also happiness, you have to find in the now. You have to search for it in the now. Now, I told you before about the 2 different kinds of happiness. So happiness isn't about getting there, because when you are there, you have another goal. Happiness is always about the process, right? Now, the 6th, and we're almost there, the 6th step is, what do you truly want? What do you truly want? And be yourself. Now, that's an important one, right? Now, to be yourself, you have to follow your passion, whatever that is. If you don't follow your passion, you will never get happy. The second thing is you have to give. You have to give, right? Giving makes you happy more than receiving. Then you gotta have a vision. You have to have a mission, a vision. My mission is I want to share happiness. I want to learn as much people as I can to be happy and help them. That's my vision. You have to get something like that. Have something like that. And you have a purpose. You need a purpose. You know, if they say in football, if you don't have a goal, you can't score. And that's true. That's also for happiness. You have to need a goal, right? But be careful, because happiness creates success, but success doesn't create happiness. I'm going to repeat that. Happiness creates success, but success doesn't create happiness. Put that in mind. It's an important one. Be authentic. Okay. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Just be yourself. And the moment you realize that when you are yourself, you can really reach your potential. You will be happy. You will attract the right people. But first things first, you need to be yourself. And that's sometimes a hard thing, because ego often gets in the way. And some people have no problem with it. Other people, it's a journey. You have to be yourself. Okay, almost there. Oh, yeah, I'm here. Okay. And the seventh one and last one is you have to create a happiness identity. Now, what do I mean with that? It's simple. First thing is you have to learn to say no. Saying no will give you more yeses than saying yes. No is a new yes. If you don't like it, if you don't want it, say no. Don't do things because other people want you to do things, right? And be aware of what you are and who you are. Be aware of that. So if you are yourself and you're aware of yourself, it's easy to say no. And we are adults here, so it's you can't say I don't give a fuck about what other people think about me. Yeah, there are 7 billion, maybe 8 billion people in the world. There will always be people who don't like you, who won't like your ideas, who won't like your clothing style, who won't like your whatever, who like tone of skin, won't like it. Always. But there are so many people who will like you if you are yourself. And if you are not yourself, they will like you because of something you are not. And then you're in trouble. You can't reverse that. So please don't give a fuck about what people think about you. It's not important. Okay. Now, I want you to, before we go to the Q&A, I know I ran through it fast, but don't worry. You will get the seminar, the webinar in your email box, so you can look it all over. You can write things down, whatever. But there are 3 things that are, for me, are very meaningful that you can take away immediately out of this webinar. And these are the things. I'm trying to share my screen here. Oh, such a technical guy. Okay, here we go. 3 things. Yep, here it is. Okay, first thing is you gotta smile. Learn to smile. If you stand up in the morning, go to the mirror, first thing you do is not brushing your teeth, but smile. First thing you do is not checking your email, not checking your Facebook, but smile. That's the first thing. Really easy, right? Now, the second thing is just do it. If you have an idea, if you have something, just do it. If it turns out to be not okay, well, that's okay. Then you tried it. You fell off your bike. Okay, you put your bike up and you try over again. But do it. If you don't do it, you will regret it. And some things you will regret the rest of your life. So do it. Just do it. It's the second thing. And the third thing is do it now. Do now. You can't be happy in the future. You can't be happy in the past. You can only be happy now. So you need to do more things now. So these are the 3 things. if you remember nothing about this webinar, just say smile, just do it, and now. These three things. If you apply these three things in your life, happiness will come to you. I can guarantee it. Okay, going back to my screen. Okay.